Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Pop and Wrestling Podcast with me, Coach 23, where we talk about pro wrestling, pop culture, and life in general. So, like I said, good morning. It's morning here in Manila. I know it's night in the US. It's Sunday night in the US, I believe, in other parts of the country or the world. Um, it's a rainy Monday morning here in the Philippines, here in Manila, uh, especially in our place in Laguna. So hope everyone is fine, especially for those who are in the south. There's no typhoon, but there are areas that are flooded, so be safe. Follow the rules. When when your government say, your LGU say, evacuate, then do so. And it will. I know I've been there. I've been part of those weird climate attack during Ondoy. That's way back like 16 years ago, almost 16 years ago. And our area somewhere in San Pedro Laguna, it was flooded for like 2 months. Yeah, people that were even saying that what, you will celebrate Christmas in a flooded area, but thankfully not. I believe it was September, then October, November. The flood wasn't there anymore. So yeah, be safe. That's all I can say. Um, so yeah, it's a great weekend for wrestling fans. Um, this happened. Survivor Series War Games emanated in Vancouver, Canada, Rogers Arena. Five a five match PLE, and I'm here to discuss in my review and point of view about what happened during the Survivor Series. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, first stop for that. The first match the match that opened the show was the women's War Games matchup. So that's Team Rhea Ripley with Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Bailey, and Naomi, the birthday girl. Team up against the team of Liv Morgan, the current women's world champion, Nia Jax, current WWE women's champion, with Raquel Rodriguez, Candice LeRae, and Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton. So that's the first. I will give my review and point of view a bit. So, second match was a one-on-one match between the defending United States champion, LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. For the women's War Games match, Team Rio won with against Team Liv. Then for the United States Championship match, it was LA Knight versus Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura won and to become a three-time United States champion. What followed up next was the triple threat match with defending Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker defending the title against um, Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. And Braun Breaker retained the Intercontinental Championship. It was followed by the World Heavyweight Championship match between defending champion Gunther, defeating number one contender Damian Priest, and of course the main event match. It's the OG Bloodline with CM Punk teaming up with the new Bloodline, teaming up with Big Bronson Reed. So for that, uh, Team OG won. For the Gunter match, it was Gunter who retained the title. So yeah, those are the results for Survivor Series um, yesterday. So my review and point of view. So for the first match, the first half of the women's War Games match was a bit clunky. Like I said, I hate using the word botch because I'm not a wrestler. I used to train taekwondo when I was a kid, but that's it. The only combat sport I know, and I even forgot some of the moves and techniques. So I cannot really use the word, botch because I'm not a wrestler. And the thing is with that word is that it's weird that if you're a wrestling fan and you use it, especially if you're not, when I say a wrestling fan, you haven't been trained to do so. because these people are trained professionals. They know how to do things. They know how to execute moves and how to handle them. It's a bit clunky because you can the mistakes are there. There's one incident that Nia Jax was about to hit Naomi with a steel chair, and Naomi was like blocking on his head. But the thing is, it was a weird setup. So the first half, or almost like the first 10 minutes of the women's war games match were clunky. It wasn't really that polished. But after most of the girls were started entering the ring, putting weapons, they based everything. They used a lot of weapons in this match. And the second half was actually better. Not even slightly. It was way better than the first half of the match. Uh, I predicted that Team Rio will win, and because it's a quite a unpredictable type of PLE for WWE for Survivor Series, it's easy to predict. But that's the thing. I will tell you about that later in a bit. So Team Rio win. Um, there were great moments in the match. Nia Jax was dominating. Team Liv was really dominating as well, despite being in a disadvantage because Team Rhea had the War Games advantage at the time. And but yeah, Nia Jax was dominating despite the early clunkier scenarios and such. And Io Sky uh certainly helped stole the show for the match. Bringing her trusty steel can trash can and do the moonsault to a bunch of ladies waiting in the second ring. Um, Rhea sporting an awesome face mask, to protect her reportedly injured orbital bone, but you know, it might be a possible storyline for that. Um, it was a great match. There was also a piece of Tiffany Stratton again cashing in the women's Money in the Bank against two girls who are champion lying in the world are lying in the ring, Liv and Nia Jax. So there was like, who are she going to cash in? So Michael Cole and Corey Graves are really on top of their game in terms of uh the commentator, yeah, the analyst, or being a commentator running the play-by-play yesterday. So it was really they really great. They're telling great story within the what's happening inside the ring. So kudos to that. Um, and in the end, of course, Team Rhea win with Rhea Ripley executing the Riptide on Liv Morgan through a table lying in the ring. So it's they're like great moments. So the storyline progressing for this match, because a lot of people saying there's no storyline progression. There is, because right now the number one contender to the Women's World Championship is Io Sky, teaming up with Rhea, and now Rhea won and pinned the champion for her team. And Rhea still have a feud or score to settle with Liv Morgan. But where do you place Io Sky there? Could Io Sky be cashing in the number one contendership or the title match at Saturday night's main event, or Raw and Netflix for day one or January 6th? Who knows? So there's storyline progression. Of course, there's also that part of who, you know, attacked Jade Cargill with Bailey replacing her. A lot of storyline for the girls. Yeah, for the heel side, the only storyline progression was probably the cashing in of the brief cash in tease of Tiffany Stratton. And of course I think she's feuding she's having a mini feud or rivalry with Candice LeRae to get like who's like the best friend of Nia Jax. So there's certainly like issues there that will progress. So there's progression. There's not no progression. There is progression. There is progression for the women's War Games match. Uh, People are just looking at the big picture in a weird way about this. It's okay to look at the big picture because you're looking the possibilities of the future, but you have to pick on the little things as well. Because if you see like a painting, you don't just look at one thing. You look at the other pieces as well. So it's weird when people say, "Ah, there's no storyline progression." There is, and yeah, that's my take on that. Then for the second match, it was L.A. Knight defending the United States Championship against the returning Shinsuke Nakamura, who was gone from TV from like since April of this year. I'm bad at math, probably 8 9 months. People are saying, "Oh, he's going to be released," but he came back. And takeaways for the match: I know Shinsuke Nakamura is a Paul Levesque hire, way back 2016 or 17 or so, and he likes Shinsuke Nakamura's presentation. Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance. I know if whenever he's a good guy, a babyface, his entrance is top notch, but his dark, personality, sinister. I like to call him Sinister Nakamura because his character right now is really dark. Um, the match was decent. The match was decent to good enough. To good for me, good enough. There were like clunky moves as well, or clunky, bits and parts of their spots in the match, but they were able to catch up. They were able to. I mean, in my takeaway, I believe in a TV capacity, TV match capacity. This is the first time that LA Knight and Nakamura faced each other. I might be wrong, but in this capacity, in the pay-per-view or PPL, it's the first time. Um, my prediction here was like 51-49. If you saw my SmackDown review last Saturday, because I was like, yeah, they LA Knight could retain the title, so it's like 51-49. But that 49% is also strong for Nakamura to win because with this persona and character of Nakamura, he last major feud that he had was against Cody Rhodes before the Rumble earlier this year. He has like an evil character. It's not that sinister. This one was a bit like I said, why I like because it's like sinister. It's like dark. It's like he's playing mind games compared to what he was doing with Cody. So it's a I guess for me, the character of Nakamura, Shinsuke Nakamura, is a bit okay. I can be a boastful, loud heel with Cody against Cody, and now he's being a dark character to a boastful character of L.A. Knight. Uh, he didn't even use the mist. He just like gouged the eye of Nakamura and hit the Kinshasa. It was a little bit anticlimactic, but once he hit that Kinshasa, I think yeah, it's okay. It's lights out for LA Knight. And where do you put LA Knight for this one? I'm still a firm believer that LA Knight will not take this loss, in vain. So I think he will challenge or demand a rematch against uh, Shinsuke Nakamura if ever that WWE did a change in their their rules that if you lose a title you can challenge for a rematch. But I think Shinsuke and LA Knight could be having a possible match either at a random SmackDown or Saturday night's main event if they can you know put it there. Will LA Knight win? My prediction is not. I don't think he will win the United States Championship whenever the first match or the rematch happens. I think they will give it to Nakamura for a simple time being. If ever that they will still have that notion of, LA Knight could handle the United States Championship. His run so far is just decent for me. His run is similar to Cody Rhodes. That he can have great matches with, a bunch of wrestlers or challengers like, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade. Um, but the run was decent. And when he was chasing the United States Championship, against Logan Paul, the chase was good. Similar with Cody, the chase was good. But when they won the title, it's like people were like, okay, the people who support aren't really there. It's there, they're top merchandise seller, but it's not as really like as exciting before. Cody, yeah, Cody's still the most popular wrestler for WWE, or at least the best babyface for WWE. Same with LA Knight. It's just their title runs are kind of, I wouldn't say mediocre. It's not that hot. It's still because, like I said, they're being still cheered, but there's something like missing. There are intangibles missing, and LA Knight could potentially, the future for LA Knight. It's either I can see him winning it again at WrestleMania, or he could possibly move to Raw and challenge for like the IC title or even for the World Heavyweight Championship there. Um, it's just that for me, LA Knight needs like a clean slate in terms for his character and how it progressed. But that's just my take, and that's just my opinion. And you know what? Yeah. So yeah, then yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura. Where does he take the title? I think he can take it. He can elevate it with his character. You know, I liked his match against Andrade last Friday and on SmackDown. It's good. It's a great match. I think potential challengers are there for Shinsuke Nakamura as well. It's just like the mid card right now for SmackDown's kind of lacking. Because yeah, you got your Andrade. Afterwards, who's next, right? So they need to progress. They need to elevate, certain talents for Shinsuke to be, to be a great champion and have a great run for with the U.S. title. So next matchup was, the triple threat match. If you put this match anywhere, any PLEs or even any Raw show, this could be like the match of the night. And it was certainly my friends from like the Wrestling Republic, channel page and podcast, they gave it like a 5-star match, and I can easily say yeah, it was a hard hitting great 5 star. It wasn't as close if I'm going to compare it for the recent triple threat matches. It's nowhere near the Drew Gunther Sheamus triple threat match last year at WrestleMania 39. But it was great. It was hard hitting, great false finishes. I was like, oh, Sheamus, they're going to give it to Sheamus in like one spot, and they didn't. uh, there was like this also part where I think Ludwig will also be winning, and he didn't. But Sheamus is already a Hall of Famer. When Michael Cole was like listing his accolades, uh, World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Champion, United States Champion, Tag Team Champion, Royal Rumble winner, King of the Ring winner, Money in the Bank winner. The only thing that he's lacking is Intercontinental Champion. That's already like a Hall of Famers, you know, line of accolades. I would still believe that he will win it one time, the Intercontinental Championship for Sheamus. Probably have like a month, 2 or 3 month decent IC run. The thing is with the Intercontinental Championship for Raw, it's stacked compared to the United States Championship picture on SmackDown. It's so stacked. It's well stacked for Raw for the IC title. I'll compare it later with the titles because you have your Braun Breaker, Ludwig Kaiser is a challenger. If Jey Uso and Sami Zayn are over with the Bloodline storylines for the time being, they could be potential challengers for the Intercontinental title as well. It's so stacked. And I'm not saying that, for me, Sami Zayn's next, opportunity for a title should be like the World Heavyweight Championship for Gunther against Gunther or whoever holds the title because I think he's already there, having like a great decent Intercontinental Championship run. Um, Jay, I think, wants the title back, and my prediction earlier when Jay lost the title to Braun Breaker, he could regain it at WrestleMania in a one-on-one match to have imagine Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, people doing the Yeet thing. It could be like potential sight to see. But yeah, I don't know. Right now the prediction for the Intercontinental Champion is so difficult to predict of who can win the title because the two men who were the challengers yesterday, they could potentially win it, hold the title. For me, barring injuries and other storyline wise, I think Ludwig Kaiser could be the potential breakout superstar or wrestler for Raw for 2025. He is that good. He is that great. outside the ring, he was able to back Tiffany Stratton. Imagine that. So and in ring, he is really good. He's really coming out of the shell of Gunther. He's a believable wrestler. I compare him to Daniel Garcia because I believe that's the closest I can compare someone from AEW. But he has more charisma and a certain credibility than Daniel Garcia. He doesn't even need to dance for grief's sake. He just need to have like that sneer, and you know that he could call them Gunther Light or Gunther Junior, but he has a different personality and character with Gunther. So that's good. But yeah, I see title future is really really well. It's beating you so well. So next matchup, Gunther versus defending the title against Damian Priest. Gunther retained, finally getting that according to him that lost confidence. Uh, but I still believe it's just an okay match, a great, decent, good, okay match. But it's nowhere as great as their SummerSlam match. Um, there's something off with the match yesterday. It could be probably that fans were tired from the triple threat match. Because it was the match placing is kind of off. If they put it like if they open this with if they open war games with this match, they could say yeah, okay, it's fine. But they put like the women's war games where the last half of the match women stole the show. Then you have your Shinsuke title change. You have the awesome triple threat match before your match. People are tired. People can be tired. It's actually match placing is really really difficult for some PLEs. Imagine I can give you a simple scenario: WrestleMania 25. They put Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker like the fourth or fifth match of the night. Then after what, people were tired. No, almost everyone are like tired with the Triple H Randy Orton match, who that main evented the pay per view was good, was great even. It's just that no one really cared because they were tired from the Shawn Michaels Undertaker match. So it's like what happened within this match did that. People were cared enough. The only time that people were oh, okay, this is a great match when Finn Balor interfered. They went alive afterwards. And Finn Balor cost the match again for Gunther, against Damian Priest, probably setting another match between the two. Uh, if you tell me like a month, 2 months ago, I think okay. Finn Balor is looking to to dwell away from the Judgment Day, and he was like being like in the back seat with Dom, being like the heel or people he hate in the group. Now he's starting to be that person again. He really wants to be the front and center, and I think a revamp of the Judgment Day will happen. I could be wrong. I could be right. Tom and Liv and Raquel could, you know, dwell away from them as well. And you have JD McDonough, you have Carlito. I think Carlito will be the odd man out. So it will be Finn and JD. But right now, I believe he's still injured. Carl Anderson and of course you can Luke Gallows can really handle that much. So I think he's also in sabbatical. Uh, I strongly believe that once you put like the Good Brothers and team them up with a heel, Finn Balor, or call them the Judgment Day Street Trash or whatnot, can be a force to reckon with for Raw. Where does Damian Priest go from here? There, a Finn Balor feud. If he's out of the world title picture for the time being, he could also challenge for the Intercontinental Championship as well. Future is also good for Damian Priest, despite being Money in the Bank winner. I don't think he will win the Rumble, but I can still think that here and there before his career ends. I'm not saying it will end soon, but it's later than sooner. I think he'll have another world title run or two. But yeah, future is still good for Damian Priest. It's just the matter of placement of who he will be feuding with. Because right now the obvious feud is still with Finn Balor. Um, but yeah, where do you put Gunther? You're the world champion. You could put it wherever you want. CM Punk is a name. Sami Zayn is a name. Jey Uso could be challenging for a challenger for the world title again if ever. So yeah, the world title picture for Raw is also good, quite good enough as well. So yeah, then the main event, uh, the Bloodline versus the OG Bloodline, with CM Punk and Big Bronson Reed. Great match, opening to opening bell to the last bell. Um, there were clunky moments as well because if you have multi-man tag team match, especially in the War Games, clunk, clunky things happen. Mistakes happen. Uh, if I'm going to compare it to like last year to even 2 years ago, it's a different scenario, different set of values and time. It's great in its own way. War Games men's match last night was really, it's a different case. It's actually great on its own, you know, matchup. That's why I don't want to compare it for like the OG bloodline with Sami Zayn, betraying Kevin Owens, or last year with Randy Orton's return, um, and CM Punk's return. This one was actually great in terms of even storytelling wise. Does Ro- uh does Roman Reign, or can Roman Reign trust CM Punk or even his teammates? Because the storyline before this, you're not a tribal chief anymore for in terms of Jay, Jimmy, and Sammy. We're going to help you out against Solo, but we are not your tribe anymore. There's no leaders. We are all equals. That's the storyline they're putting with Roman Reigns and his teammates. Solo has a solid foundation with teaming up with Big Bronson Reed. So that's the storyline they made. They made it like a must win for Roman Reigns because he lost at Crown Jewel. Although he won in Bad Blood, but he won with a different teammate. With Crown Jewel, he teamed up with his cousins, the Usos, and they lost. And now here we are again. The storyline of, yeah, can Roman trust CM Punk? What is the favor? If you look at the team of Solo Sikoa, they're solid. They can win, and there were like moments even in the matches, the last like 20, 15, 10 minutes. There were like moments that the Samoan spike on Roman, the springboard moonsault from Jacob Fatu. You were like, oh, they're like that. They give you that sense of disbelief that they can win. But they gave great spots when everyone from team bloodline or Solo's bloodline were all down. I really love that moment that what Michael Cole said a few weeks ago, the assassination of Roman Reigns. It was definitely an assassination for Solo Sikoa. Super kick, double super kick, haluva kick, go to sleep to spear, and that's nights out for for Solo Sikoa and the OG Bloodline and CM Punk won. Um, Great moments like when not really great for Bronson Reed because he was in the top of the cage. This was like too many high risk really doesn't really help for some wrestlers. What Edge or Adam Copeland did against Malachi Black, injured his fibula, I believe, and there were like now reports that Big Bronson injured both his ankles when he was about to do the tsunami to Roman. Punk pulled Roman from the table, saving him. Thus, the former call of Michael Gold of, is CM Punk the savior for OG Bloodline? And he definitely was the savior for OG Bloodline, furthering that storyline. And yeah, like I said, OG Bloodline won, and there was like this awesome camera angle where CM Punk and Roman Reigns were standing in the background. It was like Jimmy J and Sammy. The corner of your eye, you can see, Paul Heyman, and they shook hands, showing sign of respect. Uh, Great shot for that. Um, Now for storylines, where does it go? I still believe there will be a match, a one-on-one match in the future for Solo and Roman Reigns. Could possibly happen at Saturday night's main event again, or possibly Raw and Netflix. And I believe they're going to definitely fighting for the Ulafala, the necklace of the for the tribal chief. Uh, where does Paul Heyman shows in this feud or storyline? Does he betray Roman Reigns? I still believe that he can, or he will betray Roman Reigns, because Paul Heyman is all about power. And if, based on the storylines, also, Jimmy's kind of injured because he broke his toe, according to Jay. So definitely he'll be out for a specific period of time. CM Punk, Sammy, Jay goes back to Raw. Again, Roman is stood on, as a single person. And despite his popularity, despite his impact for the business for WWE, against Solo Sikoa and his bloodline, he's just one man against those four. Where do you? So I think, like I said, when I made predictions about Paul Heyman, he is all about power. He is all about for those people who have power within, a storyline or, the company. Brock Lesnar, ECW Invasion, all those stuff. CM Punk when CM Punk was the champion, then afterwards aligning himself to Roman Reigns to form the bloodline. So I still believe that the betrayal will happen. Another thing, were the CM Punk. What's the favor? I can't predict any favor because there's a lot of things. Of course, when you say I owe you a favor, you can ask for any favor. So what if, and this is just a what if scenario for CM Punk, what if he knows that Paul Heyman has power within the company? Give me a main event spot at WrestleMania. Have Roman give me a main event spot at WrestleMania. Who knows? He can cash it. Give me a title shot. Get me a title shot. So there's a lot of possibilities for CM Punk as well. A lot of wrestling analysts say that he should be the heel against Seth Rollins. Both are popular. But for me, right now, with CM Punk's run right now, it's hard or difficult for him to be a heel because even when he was like having the second half of his 434 title reign way back in 2012 and 13, even when he was a heel, people are cheering him because he brings a certain attitude. And right now, fans from WWE, who knows that CM Punk is like 45, 46. It's not like, oh, he can wrestle 15 years more. Let's give him the chance to be popular. So I think he's going to be cheered. He's the easier babyface, and he doesn't even need to, to have a bad ass or bad attitude just to be, to be hated. I think there will be difficult for him to do. So what's the favor? It's just, for us for wait to see. That's just one of my prediction. A possible title shot or even, a main event spot for WrestleMania. Who knows, right? So yeah, for the title, as I said earlier, it's kind of weird because the United States title picture is kind of lacking. You only have like four guys now vying for the title. For the IC title, you have a lot. For the world title, even for Raw, you have a lot who can vie for the title, who can challenge for the title. For SmackDown, you only have like four, like a guy like Roman, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, who has a shot at Saturday night's main event, and even Solo. Where does Cody? It's really difficult. So right now, despite the big business of WWE is having right now, they should elevate more talents right now because right now, for some people, time is really running out, and people are even coming back next year. Cena with his retirement tour, The Rock coming back as well. So you have those intangibles. So future is bright for WWE. Certain announcement. Let's give myself 2 more minutes. I'm happy for 33 episodes. We have 1,124 viewers for all across 30, 33, 33 episodes. Thank you guys for viewing. Thank you guys for listening. I am ecstatic about that. Keep viewing. Hope everyone can, spread the word, subscribe, and like my channel. Appreciate it. I was expecting 1,000 viewers 1 year for like all episodes. Like I said, there are certain podcasts that's been doing like for 2, 3 years. They only have like 1,000, 1,008 views. For me, for 33 episodes, I have 1,124, and I am happy about that. I really appreciate the views. I really appreciate this. Um, I'm thankful. And also, last Saturday, this is not a detriment for December. I recorded my first ever Pop and Wrestling Award for wrestling, where I who's the wrestler of the year, PLE or pay per view of the year, match of the year, tag team of the year, women of the year, most popular, heel, babyface. I have it. It's kind of 40 episodes, and that's fine. I hope you guys can stay. I might post it or on my YouTube channel probably next week when I go to a holiday vacation, which I believe I deserve for some reason. Despite being a freelancer, yes, I am also tired day in day out, taking care of my co-host, this kid, and while him watching Bluey and Miss Rachel. He is my co-host because he's throwing stuff at me like he's rattle and stuff. But yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in here the Pop and Wrestling podcast with me, Coach 23, where we talk about pro wrestling, pop culture, and life in general. Uh, Thank you. Appreciate the thing. Have a great week ahead. Have great holiday season for those who work. Keep the grind for those who studies. Also keep the grind, but relax. So thank you guys. Appreciate things. Peace out.